here. Okay. Right. So we'll start our meditation or this class or the session, or whatever you call. We are here. We gather here to find, try to find some comfort in our life. Not like a just simple comfort, but more like a calming our mind. How to really deal with our emotional crisis, how to balance it, right? That's obvious, no matter whether you're a believer or not. As a human being, and we're all seeking some good purpose in our life, happy in our life, harmonious our life, and good friend, good food, good house, of course. And then, yeah, we call it the happiness. And then there's a degree of happiness. What is happiness and what is not happiness? And we have to make the distinction. It's something that excessively sort of attached to certain object. Some people label that as happiness, but it's misperception. It's wrong. It's deceiving us. There are certain things that really deceiving us. We are not aware of it, right? So let's start to our session. I think you should do, setting proper motivation. That's what I call it. This is quite important. If you set like a good motivation, pure motivation, it will lead us to the right direction. So the main motivation is try to how to tackle our negative emotion, how to really weaken or how to really minimize on some of this negative emotion that disturb us. It's known as affliction. Affliction. Are you aware of this? Affliction. What does that really mean? Is affliction is defined as present of which disturb your mind. It makes sense, right? So, for example, excessive attachment and anger, jealous, and it's quite difficult to identify ignorance because which is the root cause of the rest of the affliction. But attachment, aversion, jealousy, these are quite the gross one. I think it's quite easy to identify. Are you agree with me?
Which one is easy to identify?
Anger, jealous, attachment. There are manifest, meaning like gross. We call it gross or manifest affliction, and then the subtle one. The subtle one is really difficult to identify. We do know, but some of the gross one probably is quite easy to identify when we feel so much kind of angry with somebody else or is angry with somebody. Sometimes you get angry with for yourself too, right? Meaning when you say like frustrated, I'm so frustrated. And of course, there are so many, as a causes and condition that cause you frustrated. But the main cause is something within yourself, within your mind, that causes so irritation and then the frustration, right? And if you think really deeply about the reason why you're getting so frustrated, yes, sometimes if we are trying our best to do something really good for, like bring about some positive change in within your life and in your family or your community or your country, but the causes conditions are not there and you are putting everything you can, your energy, your resources, your time and everything, but there's a lack of cooperation, lack of understanding. People are not really paying attention what you're doing, and sometimes you get a little frustrating too. But we have to be really careful with these things. When you have the pure motivation to, change, to bring about, good thing for the society, patience is very important. I mean, patient means joyous effort. I'm sorry, patient, practice patient, and then the joyous effort. Effort, joyous, the six profession the six practice of the six paramita. It's not a six paramita, the six perfection. And effort, meaning enthusiasm, another word we use. It has to be more like a with joy. What you're doing, you have to have some kind of joy to do it. If you have the joy, then I don't think there's a danger to get frustration. But if you think that you're doing it because of some sort of feeling that burden, or some sort of I have to do it no matter what, or maybe like maybe this is my job, or maybe this is my career or for living or sort of thing, then you may get kind of frustration. If you think the result, there is some good result outcome, there's a good outcome, probably will take longer time to get that. And if you see those bigger pictures, like in for a long run, it help, then it's worth to put some effort, and it's worth to like move forward with the joy. Joy meaning it has it could have really good impact in the future. Probably temporarily at the moment, it's a little challenging. It's a little struggle you may have to put, but it's worth to put it. And then skillful. Skillful is very important, right? Skillful, skillful meaning you have to make really skill way to make the decision. What do you want to do? So we are trying to do how to really rid of this root causes of the problem, right? To eradicate the root causes of the problem, it takes time, it needs energy, it needs patience, it needs so many different causes and conditions, external, internal. But most, I think, out of many of the factors, the more thing is you have to put a lot of effort from our mind. And then the body speech follow with that. Right? So because of that, setting proper motivation is very important. Meaning I'm here how to really rid of my disturbing mind. I mean, how do you really you know cool down? For example, many people use like an example when there's a fire going on. So for example, the whole this area on fire. What will you do? We should put water, hold the fire department to you know rid, what do you call it, throw up like a cold water to you know what is that, distinguish, or yeah, disintegrate. I don't know. I don't get the right word. Yeah, yeah, the further far away. And instead of doing that, if you throw like a all oil or kerosene or diesel, what would happen? What will happen? It will erupt more, right? So because of that, what is that? Okay. I think we all have enough kind of negativities within our mind stream, so we don't have to create more. So if you create more, if you make it like a stronger, it's the same thing that you're putting, kerosene on the fire, burning fire. And then, this one text called Parmana Vartika. It's a Buddhist logic where you say sometimes you have to be really careful to make a judgment for other people. You never know who is bodhisattvas or not, who is Buddha or not, who is enlightened being or not. We don't have clairvoyance, meaning we can't really read everything, what exactly going on in his mind or your mind or your mind, your mind. Because the bodhisattvas and Buddhas can appear in many different forms and different ways, and they may have different physical body, and they may react in very different way. So when he says you can't criticize other people without having really valid kind of evidence. If you do this kind of gossiping, maybe you do a lot of gossip, right? It's really dangerous. Where it says You never know who is Buddha, who is Bodhisattva. So we never know where they are. You have to be really careful. The stanzas, it has like one verse says, and the commentary by the root text is by Ajahn Chandakirti, sorry, Dharmakirti. I was mentioning about the 17 Nalanda masters. So there are two masters who are very expert about Buddhist logic and reasoning, who have written like commentaries on that. And the way he says, you never know who is Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And if unless you have any higher realization, if you have some like very advanced realization, probably you will be able to read other people's mind, and you can make what is wrong, right, and what is wrong. But when you have the limitation. When you don't know, better say nothing. That's why the guy to the Bodhisattva, like Bodhisattva Shantideva also said, just live as a piece of wood. Stay as a piece of wood. Meaning, doesn't mean that let everybody to do whatever they want, let them walk all over you. No, that doesn't really mean. And Acharya Dharma Kirti, what he says is like Bodhisattvas, Buddha and Bodhisattva could be anywhere. So make sure that you are not really jumping. He was using an like a metaphor. For example, there's a well, like a big kind of hole in there. There's a fire burning underneath, and then some sort of like grass or some very thin layer that put on top makes just look like that there's nothing underneath. Okay, just putting it, for example, there's a burning fire over here, by fireball over here, and then put some sort of like very very thin layer of grass or something, and put like this and make that there's nothing underneath, hiding your fall, sort of, and even though you have done so mass, but just hiding and look like that you haven't done nothing, something like that. If you do like that, and then there's a fire, burning fire there, and put it like that. If you walk and you're not aware there's a fire there, if you step on there, what happened? You'll fall into the fire, right? You'll fall into the fire, and what happened? We will burn. We may kill. Maybe we may kill ourselves. And when he said, you really never know who is Buddha's Bodhisattvas. Because of that, do not make negative judgment or not criticize others without really real kind of reason or evidence that you have. Otherwise, you may fall into that kind of fire and you may kill yourself. It's quite nice, kind of. This is what he said. Does it make sense? It makes sense, right? It really makes sense. So, okay, anyways, now I'm going to, oh, yes.
You have the recording on, right?
I did, yes. Yes, yes. So let's do, I think looks like we are all here with really good motivation. Pretty sure, because it's really calm and peace and feel in your, like we all have good smile in our face. How are you, John? Good. So the motivation is no matter what, whether we are able to fulfill or not, just to make the motivation is I really want to do something benefit rather than hurt at all, right? And then how much you can do, it's depend on our capacity, it depend on our limitation, it depend on how much you can do, and we can do whatever you can. If there's not, think that you can't do it, wait for another time. Not necessarily you have to do it today or tomorrow. So the motivation has to be really, really pure that I want to benefit others. And the benefit is to rid of affliction, to rid of the causes of suffering. And for that, we have to sharpen our mind, our wisdom, our knowledge, and compassion, expand our compassion, love, and caring. So the motivation has to be like pure motivation that I want to do benefit others. Okay. And then when you say, A refuge field or bodhicitta field, another technical sort of term often used. Visualize that refuge field is someone who can help you when you're in trouble. So could be your teacher, could be your parent, could be your friend. But here I would say Buddha Shakyamuni and His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Just bring very clearly in front of you. And His Holiness often tell people who come to visit him, and he says sometimes you can visualize Buddha Shakyamuni on top on your crown, or His Holiness the Dalai Lama on your crown, or Buddha on your crown, or His Holiness on the right shoulder. And then sometimes he often says, Aryatara. We have Aryatara over here, like someone who is got enlightenment in female form on left shoulder. Left shoulder of Aryatara, right shoulder. Um, it's called Avalokiteshvara, Buddha of compassion. But if doesn't work for you, it doesn't matter. You just think that all sentient being, all dear Mother sentient beings surrounded you, and you have very powerful, protection or support from the uh, refuge field, Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and any other enlightened being that you really, admire, inspire with their role model. Okay, and we'll do a few minutes meditation. Uh, Uh, okay. So everybody know we are doing the 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas. And I think we finish verse 16. And it's good to go to this verse 17. And 16 and 17 is actually how to use adversary into opportunity. Or oh, you didn't have copy? Oh, don't worry, don't worry. But 1 minute. I hope I have few copies. I have one copy here. And let me see. Maybe I have. Oh, can you? Oh, okay. Because I have two, but this version and this translation is slightly different versions are there, but the meaning is the same. And 16. Yeah, I think we finished. Yeah, we are on 17 now. And yeah, so the verse number 16 and 17 is about how to use difficulties into opportunity. How do you really transform difficulty into, like a positive or not easy, right? Not easy at all, but it's worth to try. I think it's worth to try. Yeah, the transforming difficulty into the path. That's what they say is. I mean, the 17 and 16, transforming difficulties into path. Sometimes difficulties are suffering. You need to talk a lot about suffering, right? We don't want to suffering. We don't want to suffering. But sometimes if we face some difficulties in our life, we learn a lot. It's a great lesson. So which means we are more or less able to use difficulties, transforming difficulty into the path. When you have leisure kind of a life, everything is like perfect, everything is good. We are just wondering, we are just daydreaming that I have everything, but in reality not. That's what we said, the misperceiving. That's the ignorance. Yeah, exactly. Ignorance is bliss. We have but many of us actually think like ignorance is really bliss, which that's why we continue to suffer, right? So the verse number 16 and 17 is about that. And so 16, even if a person, it's if even if a person for whom you have care, like your own child, regard as you as an enemy. Cherish him especially like a mother does her child who is, how do you pronounce that? Stricken? Stricken by sickness. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. It's something quite, we can do it. I think we can manage to do this kind of thing. For example, a parent who have like a children who put everything for him or her to grow him or her with the education, clothes, food, and provide everything, whatever you can. And sometimes this child, when they grow up, they react so strange and badly for their parents, right? There are numbers of people that do it too. But then, yes, since we are really ordinary people, we get this disappointment somehow. It's kind of natural, get right? But if you think really carefully, and if you I have done everything I can. I have done my part, and now he or she is grown up. But the way that he's, being like, there are some children who are really bad about, not really treating their parents good, right? Which is, wrong. What do you say? I would say it's a wrong thing, but the parent have done their part, and we should, like, a parent should just rejoice what you have done, that good thing for him or her, instead of disappointment come because we have done things with this expectation, some kind of something to return for you. And if you have done everything with wholeheartedly, without any expectation or without any selfish sort of thing in there, and there's no room for disappointment could occur in our mind. What do you think? Yeah. It's not easy, but
Because expectations has to be one of the root causes of suffering in general.
exactly, yeah. So expectation is another thing. One time, of course, I get disappointment sometimes too, and sometimes even get like emotional and express, oh, I got so disappointed. And then one time, I don't know, a few years ago, or maybe more than a few years ago, I was like, oh, I feel a little disappointment. And a teacher or friend was like, do what you can with wholehearted, with pure motivation, and just the motivation is just benefit others and yourself without any expectation. If you have too many expectation, this expectation will kill you. I thought that's really true. I shouldn't have this kind of expectation. Do and just do with your flow, with the flow. But of course, make the plan proper, not foolish way. It was really great lesson. I thought it's a good great lesson. So you can use these things like that. So when you say, and yes, when we try to, especially like parents taking care of their children or friends or family, you have done everything with your wholeheartedly. Sometimes acknowledgement is also another more or less kind of expectation is there, right? But the appreciation also have room, right? When someone is doing, like beneficial for others, and if yourself and others appreciate for that, it's encouraged for us to continue to benefit, continue to grow, right? So I don't think maybe they from personally, maybe not expect appreciation or not expect any acknowledgement or not expect anything in return. But if you do like it with wholeheartedly, it's naturally calm, more or less. It's naturally calm. And since human beings have great, this marvelous mind, and so mm, I think it's good. Anyway, so it's now let's read the verse number 17 and try to understand a little bit, and then I want to make something different. We can read from the beginning one verse for each and then do some reflection. So verse number 17, if an equal or inferior person disparage you out of pride, place him, here is a place him, but her too, place him or her, as you would place your spiritual teacher, with respect on the crown of your head. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Yes, suppose those who are really courageous people, they really do that. They think like they say when classical mind training texts or like texts called middle way. The middle way means um Madhyamika Avatar. It's written by the Nalanda ancient Indian Nalanda masters by the name of Chandakirti. Where he said someone who are really dedicated, completely dedicated to others, and when they when they encounter with, for example, let's say someone who is asking you to give your body or your house or your wealth, the minute they hear someone, like asking, give me something, he or she feels so joy. I've got this opportunity to practice my generosity. And then something, I've got the opportunity to practice patience. Is someone inferior or superior? Here, what was that? Where's the, let me read the Tibetan word. I give, give me a little better understanding and then try to translate that into the English. Okay, we were talking a little bit about earlier about we have to be really careful to not really, like criticize others or look out down to others. We don't know whether he or she is someone who is really realized person or not. Because of that, we have to be very careful, right? Even though the person from the other side acting like a very pride or arrogant or jealous, but this is our perception, right? We are perceiving, we like, for example, if I look him, oh, John is a very arrogant person, but that's my mistaken. I don't know, whether I can't really see arrogant in my eye. I can't see. Maybe he may act a little bit his, like a physical body a little bit and looks like the majority people label he's arrogant. But, arrogantness, prideness, these are mental things rather than physical. Of course, there are certain things you could react through the physical gesture, but most often it's mistaken. Most often it's mistaken. You can't really know. That's why, the Pramana Vartika, there is you have to follow the correct reason. Correct reason? Syllogism, there's a whole, like a textbooks, classical philosophy textbooks, which has 4 chapters. And the first number, chapter 1 and chapter 2, it teach a lot in depth about how to make the right judgment using the correct reason. There's mistaken reason, valid reason, and invalid reason. And when you're looking at person like he or she is arrogant, and then if someone asks why you said that, how do you know? And the person will may answer, he or she's acting all the time like, you know, like lifting his head like this or walking this and that. That's mistaken. You never know what is going on inside. Then so because of that, you never know whether that person is really arrogant or not. The arrogantness is mental thing rather than the physical. And then pride is also mental thing rather than the physical. And then yes, most often, we are driven with the mind. If there's something is going on in mind, in percentage, I don't know, 30% could be, we can make a judgment by checking the, like physical reaction. But, you know, mostly driven by the mind. So you never know. There are teachers, very good, some teachers who test, you know, taking them as their student. They do not easily take them as a student or something like that. It's just, we are learning here just as like human beings together, good friends together, try to learn each other, try to share each other. And who is superior, who is inferior? We don't know. We are all equal because we all have, the seed of perfection. We all have it, no matter whether, different complexion, and different body, different hair color or not. So we are all same. And maybe somebody asks, that's not true. And what is true is what not true. We have to do a lot of debate. And then we have to keep our mind very open, looks all 10 direction. I mean, all direction. And then keep learning, keep learning. And then always ready to say, I don't know. So that's humility
So
also.
if that's the case, would there be no such thing as an inferior person?
There are, yes, but how do you really make that person is inferior or that person is superior? Yes, there are conventionally. Another thing is conventionally and ultimately. In conventional level, and then convention also have the like a mundane convention, and then in beyond mundane convention. So there are inferior and there are superior people there, definitely. Meaning some people who are really strong, not really from birth, I guess, but the way maybe they have some connection with the previous experience, and then from how they really grow in the family, loving, caring family, where they only teach a lot about ethical discipline, generosity, and be always a good human being rather than cruel. And you can tell some differences are there. So then you could say superior or inferior. There are inferior and there are superior, definitely, yes. And then whether we personally, we can't really say 100% that person is superior and 100% that person inferior, unless you know that the person have completely eradicated all the causes of the misery, causes of the trouble, causes of the problem, and that's take time. It takes time, but it's the more you learn, the more you think that there's so much to dig into it. So that's why it creates some joy, create from some reason, and then yes, I need to read of this. Okay, if an equal, yes, here we use it, if an equal or inferior person disparage you out of pride, they, you know, if someone who is very prideful, thinking that very arrogantly sort of thing, then you're looking you down, you just maintain very calm and just observe instead of reacting. And so,
You
yes,
decide that
yes,
they're either equal or inferior, doesn't that mean you're doing the same thing? You're judging them. You know?
true. Yeah, we're judge. You can make a judgment, but the motivation is I want to know the reality, how is it going on. I want to know the truth rather than like making kind of creating making up ourselves. Because our misperception often allow us to just creating in what's that, interpreting for wrong way. So because of that we have to just be honest ourselves and then try. Place him or her as you would place your spiritual teacher, with respect, on the crown of your. Yes, it's really possible. These things that you can do, but then also very skillful and very practical and realistic way. If something is, beyond our capacity, if something is not really ready, if you are not ready to do it, better just live as neutral rather than reacting in negativity or positively. Just live as a neutral and then wait. Yes.
No, no.
Thank you. So these are, yeah, and then there are, you can have more kind of a commentary on that. If you can have so many commentaries, but I think what time is now? We don't have much time. I want to read actually because it's good to read one verse, like a verses for each, and then do some reflection. Okay. Um, this has actually both the Tibetan and English. But I think we'll just read the one you have, right? Who want to read the first?
I just have a question.
Yes.
So, they pick these words for a reason, right?
Uh-huh.
So why do they, what if a superior person insults you? Like,
What was that?
what if a superior person insults you? Like, why do they say
Oh,
inferior? Like, why not just say if a person?
superior mean that maybe seemingly superior, but superior, like inferiors, and that also like a relative term, right?
Yeah, which is helping. The reason why they pick those words, like, unless they're talking about like beings of small capacity and medium capacity. Meaning from an enlightenment perspective.
Right,
why
right,
do
right.
they even include that as terms of only equal and inferior?
But yes, equal and inferior and superior, they are in reality, conventionally, they are there. Some are superior than me. Some are in. I mean, I don't want to use this inferior for any someone who has a less kind of knowledge or less kind of good qualities than you or me.
So is that what they're talking about, like not like spiritual knowledge or just
In reality,
like in reality?
in reality,
Like being
when you say
capacity, or medium capacity or small capacity, like
when you say lamrim, you're in the lamasangkap is a lamrim. You said that small, middle, and great capacity. It may have connection there. Is it connected with there? But in reality, whether you are a spiritual person or not, whether you're a religious person or not, there are people who have better qualities. Some have equal than you. Some are quite equal in knowledge and like practically practice meaning how they really deal with people, how they really maintain their life, and quite equal. But the comparison thing is also, not easy way to do, but there are some, for example, you and me, or him, you and Jason, maybe you're a classmate, or let's say that, and your age is similar, and you have also you are doing pretty similar kind of job, more or less you're equal. But this is very mundane level I'm talking.
Mm.
And then in ultimately, or this, when you're talking about the Buddha nature, the capacity that become like a fully, awakened person, then we are all equal. In that sense, we're all equal. But conventionally, not everybody is equal. Are you getting it?
Mm.
In reality, in practically, not everybody is equal. Meaning, some are less knowledge, some are good hearted person, some are more compassionate person. There are some who are not that compassionate person. It's there. So those who are not really compassionate person, those who are really not kind of, aware what others need to be doing. There are some people who are very selfish too. There are some people who are really generous person too. So someone who have less quality than you, suppose they are more like a inferior. And then someone who have little more than you, what more good qualities than you, consider they are superior than you. And there are some people who are, like is equal sort of qualities of the, the good qualities, meaning the good values with you, and they are equal to you. So those three category of the people, if there's some circumstances or some causes a condition react to you like very ruthlessly or cruelty, and then you just, if you have enough courage, if you have enough kind of practice patience, put him or her on your crown. He taught me a lot how to practice patience. He or she is the person that how to really, react with this situation instead of firing back. If someone throw you on like a stone, and maybe better just run away and hide somewhere instead of throwing back another, stone. If you throw another stone, there will another. And then maybe, if you throw like a stone to, Ken John, and then he may throw back, and then back and forth, then it's escalate, and then the result will be disaster, right? And yeah, I know some people often use this metaphor. If there's a tiger running after you, you better not really, try to fight back. Better run away, right? Better run away and hide somewhere. Otherwise, they will kill you. Otherwise, he will, the tiger will kill you and eat you, right? So that's why you say the smart, our intelligent. We need to use our intelligence. How to really use it? So yes, there are superior person there. There are inferior person there. There are equal kind of with us. No matter whether they're equal or superior or inferior, if they really act you badly, could treat you badly, if your mind is very stable, if there's no disturbances going on in your mind, be rejoice and try to be aware. Okay, this is something that happened. I wish it never happened again, but you can't really like you can't beat people with like a stick to change their mind. No, they have to come voluntarily and they need to learn how to do it. Right? If you throw like a stick to, I mean, sometimes, yes, little children, the mother has to be wrathful, or the parent has to be really wrathful, because otherwise they could grow like, naughty. Anyway, yeah, this is what it is. Okay, let's read the verses one by one. We have sorry for the online. We are reading I think we'll ask you to read too, because we want to learn together, and we are going to read from the beginning. Okay, we'd like to read the first verse from the beginning, the salutation. Yes, because we have yes.
Homage to lovely
Uh-huh.
pay constant homage through my three doors to my supreme teacher and protector,
Chenrizik.
Who, while seeing all phenomena, make single-minded effort for the good of living beings.
Okay, and how are you?
Perfect Buddhas, source of all well-being and happiness, arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings. And this depends on knowing the practices. So I will explain the practices of the Bodhisattvas.
Good. So Debbie?
Having gained the rare ship of freedom and fortune, here think and meditate unwaveringly, night and day, in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of cyclic existence. This is the practice of Bodhisattva.
Okay, how are you?
Attached to your loved ones, you're stirred up like water. Hating your enemies, you burn like fire. In the darkness of confusion, you forget what to adopt and what to discard. Give up your homeland. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Thank you. Carrie?
Living your spiritual without distraction, push yourself to the movement. The clarity of teaching horizons. Cultivate seclusion. This is the practice.
Thank you. Arlene?
Loved ones who have long kept company apart will create difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will be the guest house of the body. Let go of this life. This is the practice.
Thank you. Scout?
Keep their company with three poisons increase. The activities of healing, thinking, and meditating decline. Compassion. Give up bad friends. This is the practice of
Thank you.
When you rely, your faults come to an end, and your good qualities grow like the waxing moon. Cherish your spiritual teachers even more than your own. This is the practice of it.
Thank you.
Bound himself in the jail of cyclic existence, what worldly God can give you protection? Therefore, when you seek refuge, take refuge in the three jewels which will not betray you. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Thank you. John?
The subduer said all the unbearable suffering of bad rebirths is the fruit of wrongdoing. Therefore, even at the cost of your life, never do wrong. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Thank you. So Hansla and Angelo and Priscilla online would like to read verse number 9. Hansla, unmute yourself.
Yep.
Also,
Yep.
go ahead, Han.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm reading from the small book, so my wording
Yes,
is
yes,
like
yes.
different.
Yes.
Happiness in the three realms, like dew on a blade of grass, is subject to instantaneous fading away. To strive for the supreme state of liberation that never wavers is the practice of a bodhisattva.
Thank you, Hansla. So Angelo, can you read the verse number 10?
Yes. When your mothers, who love you since time without beginning, are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, to free limitless living beings, develop the altruistic intention. This is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Thank you. So Priscilla, verse number 11. Priscilla, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and
Do you have the text with you?
I don't have the physical text, and I'm looking for the digital file.
Okay, so while you're looking the digital file, we will ask somebody else to read the verse number 11, and you can read the verse number 12, okay?
I hope so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Debbie, yeah. You look, yeah, go.
All suffering comes from the wish for your own happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you are born from the thought to help others.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, exchange your own happiness to the suffering of others.
bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas. Yeah, bodhisattvas. It's a Sanskrit word. Bodhisattvas.
Thank you.
So Priscilla, have you found it?
No, I have not because I don't
Oh,
know what.
actually, Angelo have post on the chat. So you can read from there.
Oh, okay. 12. Thank you so much, Angela. That is very kind of you.
Good.
Even if someone out of strong desire steals all your wealth and has it stolen, dedicate to him your body, possessions, and your virtue, past, present, and future. This is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Thank you. So we have few more verses. 12 done. 13. Who would like to volunteer to read 13? Okay, good.
Even if someone tries to cut off your head when you haven't done the slightest thing wrong, out of compassion, take all his misdeeds upon yourself. This is the practice of the Bodhisattva.
Okay, 14. Anybody? Yeah.
Even if someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you throughout 3,000 worlds, 3,000s world, in return, with a loving mind, speak all of his good qualities. This is the practice of the Bodhisattva.
Thank you. So 15. Who did?
So someone may deride, speak bad words about you in a public gathering, looking on him as a spiritual teacher. Bow to him, respect. This is the practice of Bodhisattva.
Thank you. So 16. Okay, go.
Even if a person for whom you cared like your own child regards you as an enemy, cherish him specially like a mother does her child who is stricken by sickness. This is the practice of bodhisattva.
Thank you. So Hansla, I would like to read the number 17, verse 17.
Okay.
Cool.
Even when someone who is your equal or inferior, driven by arrogance, seeks to disparage you, to place him or her on the crown of your head, with the same respect you would accord your guru, is the practice of a bodhisattva.
Thank you. So quite inspiring, or how do you feel? So it's yes, Hansla, do you have a question or what do you any comment?
It was the discussion about inferior or superior.
I see. Okay.
These
Right,
are
right.
words in Western, especially, that's very difficult. It's a very difficult
Really?
situation. In inferior, in many times, the one people think of other people, another people as inferior. But this is, I don't think, not what is meant here. I think I worked for many years with my wife in a house. At that time, we called it intellectually handicapped. So these are people that have kind of like severe intellectual problems, motor skill, they face motor skill problems. There is certain things there. So a lot of times people say, "Oh, these are inferior people," but we used to call them the children of God, because they teach you so much patience. But they need also this guidance, if you like. But they have a lot to give in the way of teaching you patience and not becoming angry when they say, "No, I don't want to do this," or when they can't do it because of their lack of motor skills. So that is more where I look at as an example that may be helpful.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Anybody want to share anything about the inferior and superior in any? Yes, please.
To his question, seems to me that if you recognize someone as superior, especially as a teacher or somebody who's spiritually more advanced than you are, and they are disparaging you, you might interpret that as skillful means or as constructive criticism of you, as opposed to an arrogant and unfair disparagement. That's probably why there's a distinction here.
Oh, thank you for reminding. Actually, if spiritual teacher is a really good spiritual teacher, never ever will look us like a superior or inferior. They will treat us equally. But if someone is claiming that they are a good spiritual teacher and they're making some kind of looking at among others like a superior or inferior or treating like a unequally, they're not good spiritual teacher, I would say, right? That's really good that you pointed out.
It gets back to semantics again, because
Yes.
they're not disparaging you, right? They're constructively helping you.
I
So
see.
words mean things.
I
but
see,
they're
I
not
see.
Disparaging you. It's the teacher, they're constructively
Mm.
instructing you, right?
Right.
They're not disparaging, so it's
Right. Right.
I'm imagining stories I've heard about teachers who can do things that might seem like they're to being harsh or whatever, but they're really using skillful means that you might not understand
right.
at that moment. That's possible.
Right. That's why you say elegant talk and sweet talk never not guaranteed that just coming from good intention. Manipulation also can be there. That's why you have to be really skilled how to really judge who is good, who is not good. I mean, who's a good teacher, who is not good teacher. So you have to. That's why you have to be really careful how to really find the right person that you can rely. And then in Buddhist when I've given that four reliance. I think I explained when the four reliance. Remember that? I think so. For reliance, there are like it's given us like 100% that you can decide rather than someone else tell you to do it. Where he said the for reliance is like a rely on the teaching rather than the person. Rely on the teaching instead of the person. That's number one. Rely on the teaching is rely on the definitive teaching instead of interpretative teaching. And then the teaching also word, right? That they rely on the meaning rather than the words. And then the fourth one is rely on the mental consciousness rather than the sensory consciousness, because the sensory consciousness deceive us. And the mental consciousness, if you or make like a mental consciousness stronger, can you make the differentiation between the mental consciousness and the sensory consciousness?
Yes, but I wonder why it's that way and not the other way around.
Mind deception. But oh yeah, exactly. Okay, we are in. I think we talk about the three realms: desire realms, form realms, formless realms. In existence, in the universe, we have different realms. Realm, Lerealm, realms. We are, we human beings are in desire realms, where the sensory object are so strong and we driven up and after that we just run, we just chase those like an attractive kind of object, or like it's nice smell, or maybe nice sort of tactile, or maybe nice sort of what do you call it, taste. And if you see, like, you go to the supermarket, okay, you can test that and go, and you go into the supermarket and then look around, and if there's like a new dress fashion, each time you create like a new dress, each time, I don't know, sometimes even like a 2 3 times in a year. And the what is that, the business people, they create like a different new car. Okay, you use the new car, the car that you have for like they stay 3 4 years, it's even like in perfectly working well, but majority of them are getting the new one, and then the old one we are going to, even though it's working, but you want to have the new one because everybody is having it. But why everybody is jumping to the cliff, and why you have to jump to the cliff either? But this is what everybody is running after. So because of that, you know, the sensory consciousness, they pull us to this kind of wrong situation. So that's why it said like rely on the mental consciousness rather than the sensory consciousness. In the desire realms, we are actually almost like enslaved of this sensory consciousness, and then the object of this, the sensory consciousness. And the minute you see something from your eye consciousness, and then they might just pull there. The minute you see something kind of, like this is quite easy to make this, like a distinction. I was saying like, when you go to the supermarket and then taking and the desire come, oh, I want that. And then, this, what do you call it? Attachment and too much possession, want rather than need. These are quite strong, So the sensory consciousness really take you to, but then that's why when we try to meditate, we have to meditate. We just leave this sensory consciousness, just live as a neutral and try to look inwardly how this mental consciousness reacting, how this mind actually, we have when it's psychology, when you study the psychology, you have the mental consciousness, you have the sensory consciousness, and the sensory consciousness are not reliable, they are not stable. And the mental consciousness, of course we have so much, afflictions are there, so much, like distorted are there. But if we try to train it, it can be trainable. And then eye consciousness, this I know it's like it's very much that. Okay, one very important thing is the five sensory consciousness are very much like depend on the brain. I think I'm okay to make this statement. You have to. The researcher may say something different, I guess. Brain, the physical brain, the nervous system, but the mental consciousness have more connection with the subtler thing. But many teachers says the mental consciousness, where it's located, where it's resided in our body. But you can't really pinpoint when you're talking about the emptiness point of view. You can't really pinpoint it's there, it's not there. But conventionally, yes, it's connected with our body, our physical body. And many experts says it might have some special connection with the heart. But you can do some research on that. And whether the researcher will find accurate sort of finding or not, you just do it with a very honest and empirical kind of observation, then you can find something. Why not? Yes, do you have anything?
I do, but it's not in conjunction with what we've been talking about.
Okay.
It's verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone experience when we practice this towards others more, do you find it more difficult to practice it within yourself than towards others? You do.
Mm.
It's easier to look at things objectively from the outside, but like the mirror,
Easier, or we
But
are
I think it's
habituated? Oh,
important to follow it for ourselves.
yeah. Right.
We were talking about going inward and
I've heard people say that, like, give yourself the understanding that you give like a good friend. That is very hard to do for sure.
Okay. I think we could. We have. We still have stuff. What do you want to do? You want to do some discussion among yourself, because too much talking is not good. And because we have what, about 20 minutes. Let's we'll do dedication and then not dedication. I'm not going to talk and more discussion and maybe share your own kind of daily life kind of experience about related with this, how to really deal with difficult people, how to really difficult people or difficult the difficulties within ourselves. You're saying, I mean, how do you really work with this? That's the main thing. And then when you live in a society, then there's sometimes, yes, true, you have to deal. There are some people who are quite superficially acting really difficult people, but then how can you really generate kind of good degree of compassion those people? Yeah, anything, do you have anything to share? No, not this, yes.
Yeah, I'll share something that spiritual teachers and use the word disparage. Perhaps disparage isn't the best word for it, but I've seen that and actually experienced having a spiritual teacher who would, I guess I would use the word kind of poke at us and make an observation that so I would take as a criticism and and um, and it really produced for myself because we would say, "Oh, you're this or you're that," and immediately I would be, "What is he talking about?" That's but it would stay with me,
Mhm.
um, and I couldn't let it go. And eventually, when I was meditating, I would see it. It would come up and I'd say, "Oh man, he was right."
Ah, that's
It
good.
was gift, but
Mhm.
initially it was, it
Mhm.
felt like criticism, or I guess you could use the word, it was disparaging something, but I don't want the word. But yeah, so I think that's absolutely true. At least it has been in my experience.
Mhm. That's beautiful.
So
Thank you.
so I think it really helps explain 17. You were talking about equal and inferior. Why they didn't say superior, I guess. I thought that was a good explanation.
Carrie, yes.
Something getting back to sort of things like sensitive. I think example of how it's going to be based on severe, how something might feel is because it gives you that pause, right? You meditate, doing something else, and while it's still there with you, you're separating yourself from the sort of reaction pieces that it gives you that pause.
So, Angelo, do you have anything to share online? Oh, there are some messages here.
Decimo, it is
Yes.
really difficult for, at least for me, to
Oh,
hear the
oh
other
yeah.
participants
Oh,
because they're so far away from, so I can't really follow. So I think I will see you next week then. Thank you very
right,
much.
right, right, right.
Okay,
So
thank
thank
you.
you, Angela. Thank you. So yeah, maybe you could use the microphones next time that they can hear. Okay, Scott, you have anything to share or anything? Megan, you have anything to share?
Not at the moment.
Yes.
I just noticed, I wasn't raised Christian, but I noticed the similarity to the teaching of Jesus of turning the other cheek.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Turning
is
what? Turning
turning the other cheek. So if somebody's
the other cheeks. I see.
you offer them the other cheek.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
this is,
beautiful.
yeah, this is
Turning the
very
other cheek.
similar to Christian teaching. I just want
Mm-hmm.
to point that out, that these truths are not necessarily the property of any given spiritual.
Exactly.
Truth can't be.
Right. That's beautiful. Turning your cheek. Turning the other cheeks.
The other cheek.
Turning other cheeks.
And
That's so beautiful. Yes.
even more extreme, when I read 13, even if someone tries to cut off your head, when you cut another very so long, out of compassion, you know, homelessness, speed, yourself, etc. And then immediately made me think of Jesus.
Wow.
Because which is my spiritual tradition. When he was on the cross,
Uh-huh.
nailed to the cross and dying, and he said, "Forgive them; they don't know
Mm,
what they're
mm,
doing."
mm, mm.
Um, so, yeah, I mean, because when I first read this, I mean, a lot of this, I read it and I think, I'm not even sure I want to go there.
But no, we can't jump there, but inspire this
Yeah.
the word. But then one day maybe we will be able to. Not right now, or maybe maybe not ready for us for this moment. That's why we have to be really skilled. Learn from them, definitely. It's a very inspirational word and something is worth to try. But whether we are really in the position to do that or not, and many of the Buddhist and Bodhisattva's teaching is say don't do until unless you are ready with that. But don't like discard either. Just leave it as neutral for the moment, and then let it when you are more confident. Then yes, even the same thing. Kindergarten children can learn A B C D or apple ball sort of thing, and then when you're getting a little bit high like high school, middle school, high school, college, and then you can put on top of each, right? And then yeah, definitely there's there will be some point that we are ready to do this too. So yeah, that's really practical and skillful way to work with that. Yes, yes, yes. And there are so many, some as you said, Jesus who were crossed, and then also like in Buddha's, when you read like life of the Buddha, when he was enjoying this practice time, he have actually cut it of his in like arms and given to like tiger. There's one in a story about when Buddha was born in like a brother. I think that's he had like two brothers. He was in the middle, and they were when they went to the jungle for just for a walk or something, and they saw there's like a five mothers of tiger who have like a calves, and then the mother was so hungry, no food, nothing, and the mother was almost like ready to eat her own calf. We call it calf, right? Calves. And then he was a very young boy at that time, but this the tiger is going to die or going to eat her own cubs. So what Buddha did, he just offered his body to the mothers of the tiger. So we have a spot in Nepal where this is the spot where Buddha offered his body to the cub. So these, if they have the power, the mind, have the power how to do this, generosity. It's the same thing. This body is just like a guest house, right? You can get a new body, and maybe better, more healthier body that you could do more. So if you're mentally prepared, yes, you can do it, but we have to make sure that we are mentally prepared. If you are not prepared, if you are not prepared, better just stay away. Doesn't mean ignoring or doesn't mean like rejecting, but just live as neutral. These are the very practical teaching that we have. We can find many different teachings, Jesus teaching, Buddha's teaching, and even like a Hinduism and others different teaching, I guess. I mean, even though we haven't studied that much, but we're hearing a lot about this very much similarity from many, many different traditions, and almost identical. Yeah, they are. So that's why we have to be really open-minded. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he always said, like all the major religious traditions work together to bring about peace and harmony. And because it benefit from many things in the past and it benefiting now, and you're going to benefit in the future too. So then we have opportunity to do it. Right? I think we have to feel really fortunate that we have got the opportunity to do it. It's because there are not many people who have got this opportunity. It's because they have caught up with different things. Okay, so I think we will stop here. And thank you very much. It was really nice. Thank you for sharing. It's beautiful. Thank you. So when you say dedication, just mentally, you know, in the lively discussion that we have created together to dedicate that last long so that our spiritual growth, you know, get stronger and stronger so that we will be, much more benefit for others and oneself. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So please have a cup of tea or water or anything. You have prepared that in the kitchen. And have a good day. Okay, Angelo, bye-bye.
Hello,
And
cô
thank
Trường,
you.
teacher
Thank
Nong.
thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you, Priscilla. Enjoy, Angelo. Bye.
So if it's a lion, you never run.